Hi everybody, I'm Pia. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Lunchtime Live. I said that already. I'm Pia from Stitches and Scraps. And Lunchtime Live, if you're new, is basically like an online newsletter. Like think of it like a video newsletter for Stitches and Scraps. Plus, we tack in a little demo at the end. So this is episode 34, and last week we talked about how to make eyes, like different ways to embroider eyes for amigurumi, like for this little magnet, just these tiny little sort of eyes. Well, I asked, what do you guys want to see next week? And somebody told me that they wanted to see how to do the nose and mouth part too. Which I don't have as many options for, but I will show you how to do that at the end of the video. But first, let's get to the newsletter portion. Hi Beth, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're able to join in. Let me know if there's any issues with sound or video or anything like that, as always. I'm always tweaking, so every week it's a little bit different. Okay, so again, just to get everybody up to speed if you're new, there is a blog post that goes along with each Lunchtime Live episode, and in that post I add all the links for everything that I'm going to be talking about. So if you want more information on something, the link to that blog post where all of these links are is in the description on the video. So you can click over to that post, you can follow along, you can see all the patterns we're talking about, all of that, all the different posts that we're going to talk about. So let's get into what was going on this week. So far, well actually I don't want to forget this because I forgot this last week, so table that. I want to tell you guys what's going on with all of these pieces of paper taped to my back wall back here. No, this is not a design choice. What's going on is I am planning to do some changes back here. I recently got my hands on a bunch of, ooh, they're heavy. Well, they're not that heavy, but a bunch of these absolutely amazing, look at that, isn't that cool? That part's not gonna show, but I just think it's cool. Cigar boxes. They're really nice, sturdy wood boxes. Here's the back of it. And so I was thinking, wouldn't this make a really nice like display shelf or like frame on the back here? So I've got a whole bunch of these, and I'm thinking, with some paper on the back, some fun prints or something like that, I'm going to go ahead and there's one piece of paper behind my head, so you won't see that shelf, but I'm gonna go ahead and do these three boxes along the bottom to make the three shelves, and then two of the lids up on the sides, up at the top where you see those, kind of like, well, suppose I wanted to display this, then this would just kind of sit in here or be taped up on top somewhere, and it kind of is like a little frame for whatever I want to stick up there. I have some ideas of what I'm going to stick up there, and I might actually do a little tutorial or even a live video when I'm putting it together. But that is coming soon, and the reason for the paper is I wanted to get an idea of placement. I wanted to sit with it for a couple of weeks, and I wanted to see how it showed up in the videos. And for example, like there's one that's going to be hidden behind my head, so I may not want to put some of my prettier stuff in there that might be more utilitarian. So that kind of thing I wanted to get an idea of, and so I'm like, those are just phantom shelves right now, but they will eventually look better than random taped up pieces of paper. Okay, so on to what is going on with the blog. This week we had our fox magnet, and you can see that right up at the top there. I'll pull it down for you. Hang on. There's a bit of a glare back there, so it's easier to see if I pull it down. So this is our fox magnet, and this is the Magnets Cal pattern for this week, and it was released on Tuesday. So that pattern is on the blog. You can go ahead and make that. This is actually the nose and mouth that we're going to be working on in the demo, and it's really simple and fast. So Let me transfer back here. There we go. Okay, hi. So the other thing that came up this week, I had recorded a video because I've had questions from people about when you get yarn in hanks. And I don't think I have one here to show you, but basically they're like giant loops of yarn that are twisted. When you get yarn in that format, you have to roll it into a ball before you can use it. And I have questions from people about how to do that and what materials are best. Like, do you use an umbrella swift, or do you use a tabletop swift, or how do you decide? So I wrote a blog post showing you how to use a swift, and the one that I use is a tabletop, like Amish style swift. Showing you how to use that swift and a hand crank ball winder to make a ball, to make a cake. It's like a center pull cake of yarn. But in the blog post, I've also talked about the different types of swift, why you may want to use a ball winder, why you may want to choose this swift or that swift. So there's a lot of good information in there if you're thinking about a winding setup. And that post went up this week, the tutorial on winding yarn. The other thing I want to give you guys all a reminder, today is your last day to enter the giveaway for Modern Tunisian by Mary Beth Temple. If you have not entered, go, not right now, when I'm done, go to the blog post. There's a link. The giveaway is tucked into a review of the book. And it's a fabulous book if you love Tunisian, and it's a fabulous book if you're new to Tunisian, because she walks through all the basics, but then she makes these really great, very unusual modern style projects. They're not what you're typically used to seeing in Tunisian. So go check it out at least and enter that giveaway. Today is your last day. It ends at the end of the day. It's basically midnight Central Time. I'm on Central Time, so if you're Pacific, don't wait till midnight. It'll be over. So that's basically what's new on the blog this week. Let me see if I had anything else. Nope, that's it for this week. So what's coming up for next week? I have recorded, actually a little while ago, a tutorial on putting together interchangeable knitting needles, because I got that lovely set from Knit Picks. They sent me, well, We Crochet / Knit Picks. They sent me their Prism Options needle set, and if you're new to interchangeable needles, it's not necessarily that automatic. Like when you see it, you wouldn't naturally know the right way to put them together so that they won't separate when you use them. So I've recorded a tutorial on how to put those needles together, and if I can get that edited in time, I will get that out tomorrow. But I've got something really exciting to show you now, which is next week's pattern. And I've been very quiet about this, partly because I haven't finalized exactly what I'm doing, and this is coming out Tuesday, so I'm working on it. I have the general idea. Basically what it is, and I'm going to hold these up, these are not finished, okay? There's no edging on these yet or anything, but I have 3 pieces, 3 triangles that look like this. Do you see how there's mesh? Hi, I can see you through the middle. There's mesh in the middle, and then they're solid everywhere else. These have not been blocked yet. They will block, very nicely. The mesh will open up, and so then you won't get that little divot down here. But I have 3 of these triangles in 3 different colors, 3 different shades of gray. This is the lightest one, I believe. Yes. This is the second one. So if you want to compare these colors, you can see the difference there. And then this one is the darkest one, and I haven't quite finished the triangle yet. So what these are, these yarns are, they're called the, what did she call it? Oh, it starts with an S. I forgot. Oh, Silver Linings collection. They're from Global Backyard. It's a new yarn that she's dyed herself. They're sock weight yarn. They are 85% extra fine merino superwash and 15% nylon. And they are not gradients, they're like tonal. They're not quite solid. They've got little speckles of different shades in there, but it comes in a gradient set where you have the 3 different shades. I'm going to put the 3 triangles together to make a shawl. So let me show you. I can draw this on the desk a little bit easier than explain it. So if I have one triangle like this, okay, and then on the other sides of it I have 2 triangles like this, you can see how that makes a sort of trapezoid shape like that. So it's like those 3 are the triangles. Okay, so I'm going to put them together like that, alternating direction. What I haven't decided yet is what exactly I'm going to do for the edging, and how I'm going to join them for sure, and in what order. Do I want it to go, you know, lightest and then medium and then dark, or do I want it to go dark in the middle and then the 2 light ones on the side? I'm going to play around with it once I get them all finished and laid out on the floor and look at them. So that's why it's not even finished yet. But I've been working on that. These are the colors. So the lightest color is Incoming Rain. Then there's Cloud Cover. Don't you love these names? And then the darkest one is Thunderclap. And these are really big skeins, 400 yards, 100 grams. They actually... These skeins, this yarn is what actually encouraged me. This is the biggest one that I haven't finished yet. This is what's actually encouraged me to go out and buy a larger capacity ball winder. Because when I first bought my ball winder, I bought a really cheap one, and I thought that it was a 4-ounce ball winder, which is about 100 grams, right? It is a 3.5-ounce ball winder. So these skeins, by the time you get right down to the last bit of it, it's really tough to make it fit. You'll see even in the video it starts skipping a little bit. I actually, to make sure I don't have problems, half the time I take them off early and wind them by hand. And I'm like, you know what, this is ridiculous. So I went and bought a Stanwood 10-ounce ball winder, and I'm waiting for that. I just got the shipping notification. I'm so excited. I have been wanting one of these forever and ever and ever. So I don't know why I didn't just do it, but now I've just done it. So I will hopefully be able to show that to you, probably not next week, but it might be the week after. I'll be able to show that to you when I get it. It looks really cool. I really like it, so I can't wait for that to come. Okay, and then that's... What else? Lunchtime Live next week. I haven't decided anything for sure. I might do something that goes along with the shawl that I'm working on, and I'm probably going to call it the Silver Lining Shawl because that's the name of the yarn collection, and you know, it's a great name for a shawl. But I will tell you more about that once it's finished. But for now, I want to show you. Oh, and so if you have anything you want to see next week, let me know as far as the demo. But for now, I want to show you how to work a nose and mouth, kind of like these ones here. And I had a black yarn 5 seconds ago, and I don't know where it's gone now. So we may not be able to do it in black. Oh, there it is. It fell off my table. It was on the floor. Okay, so black yarn. I'm putting it on my needle. And this is just a little round swatch that I made up. This is the one I used for the eye demo before. Now I want you to notice something on both of these circles, okay? The nose is not right in the center. Believe it or not, on most faces, to make them look symmetric, the eyes go right across the center. This is the center on this one. And you can see the eyes here are just above center. The nose sits lower. And if you don't do it that way, your face is going to look really, really funky. So when you do your nose, find the center of your circle, okay? But then put your nose a little bit lower, just below the center, like below that round even, okay? But I like, okay, you can start with, I'm going to do it on both sides. I'm going to do 2 noses on this. So you can start with the nose, or you can start with the mouth. On this one, I'm going to start with the mouth. So what I would do is I would weave in just a little bit of this tail just to hold it in place. And I probably, in real life, weave in a lot more than what I'm doing now. I'm just doing enough to tack it down for right now. Okay, so this is where I want the nose to be, right around here. So I want the mouth to be, I'm going to actually put the mouth, do you see the edge of this round here? Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so this is one round, this is one round, this is one round. I'm going to put the mouth right around here, around this round here. Okay, so let's say that this is where I want the center of the mouth. All right, you bring up your yarn there. My dog just came downstairs and I hear her growling, so there's a chance she might bark at me in a second. If she does, I apologize. She's just upset she's not getting attention. All right, and then I would find, so this is the center of the mouth. Now I'm actually going to hold this up and find the curve I want. Do I want a straight mouth? Do I want a sad mouth? Or do I want a happy mouth? So in this case I want a happy mouth. I think I want the top of the mouth to be right about, let's go right about here. Okay, I don't want it necessarily grinning. So I bring my yarn down where I want the one end of the top of the mouth. Okay, now I'm going to mirror that across on the other side. Let's come up right about there. And come back down in the middle. Now if I have not made it symmetric, I can fix it. Like this is maybe a little bit longer. Let's see if I loosen this back up. Okay, I actually think that's good. So that is a really nice smiling mouth. This one's a little more straight. This one's got just a slight bit of a curve to it. This one's a really big smiling mouth. So you can make any sort of expression you want, but I always like to start in the center and work each side. Now, if I wanted to make a nose that was connected, like this one, I would again bring this up where I want the stitch to end, and then bring it back down in the middle. If I wanted to make a nose, like say for a doll that is not connected, like a human doll, then I would weave this in the back and bring it out where I want the nose to be. But let's go ahead and do a connected nose. So this is where I want the nose to be, right? I'm going to bring this line up past where I want the nose to start. I want it tucked under the nose, okay? So I'm going to bring it up past where I want the nose to start. And then bring it back down. And this line is too long now, all right? I know it's too long, all right? This is also a great way to start a flower. But this line is too long, and that's okay because I'm going to cover it with the nose. So I'm going to bring this up for the nose just along the side of that line. And I'm going to do the nose very much like I did those little ball type eyes, like like these ones, but bigger. So the nose is basically just one stitch repeated over and over and over. Sorry, I've got a knot in this. There we go. Okay, so the nose is just this one stitch repeated over and over. So I find where I want the other end of the nose to be, which is right there, and I put the yarn down there. And then I keep repeating this stitch until I feel comfortable with the shape and size of the nose. Usually for me that's 3 to 4 times, sometimes more if I want a really puffy nose. Okay, and it's just the same exact stitch over and over and over. I think I want one more, and then I'm going to show you a little trick. So this nose is very horizontal. It's a lot like this nose that I did here. On the bear, I wanted the nose to have a little point at the bottom. Do you see how it's shaped a little bit different? That is done by this little trick. Bring it up again to do another stitch, okay? Oh, and thank you, Beth. I like the nails too. They're James Bond, I guess, inspired. See, they got the 007s, and Diamond is a girl's best friend, and I think that's a martini, and then there's a golden eye. I don't even know what else. But yeah, oh, and I like the pinky one has a little suit. Anyway, yeah, they're cool. I like this one. Okay, so the trick to make the pointy nose. Bring the yarn up at the beginning of the nose, then go under this stitch that you made, that center stitch, and then bring it back down again. And what that does is it's going to pull your nose stitch down just a little bit and give it just a little bit more shape rather than just round. So now you can see that that's got a little bit more shape, and if I wanted it even pointier, I could do it again. This is actually a very big bulging nose. I might do this one for like a polar bear. And it's coming up pretty close to the ends of the mouth because I made a big smiling mouth. But you can see how you can get all different shapes depending on where you put the ends of your mouth, how many stitches you make over the nose, and whether or not you put that center line in there. So let me show you a different one, not different, but let me show you what this looks like if I started from the nose and how to get that connection there. So if I start from the nose, and this is what I actually did on the fox, this time let's do a little bit smaller of a nose. Let's do just 3 stitches, partly because I'm starting to run low on yarn. Okay. Yeah, 3 stitches, 4 stitches. Okay, 4th stitch. Now I want to do that center line, right? So again, I want the center line to overlap where the nose is. So I want to bring the center line up basically right in the middle of the nose. So it would be right there, right? But I don't want to catch any part of the nose when I do it, because that'll give it that shaping, that pointed shaping that I may not want. So I bring it up, but first I'm going to push the nose out of the way and then bring it up underneath and poke it out like that. Okay, see, I've pushed the nose up and out of the way. This is actually under the nose, so when I bring it up, the nose sits right back down on top of it. And that way you get that look of it being connected. Now, if I wanted to make that little angle, I could come up under just that one thread and pull that one thread down to give me that little bit of shaping. Come down to the center of the mouth. All right, now I'm going to make a little bit less smiling of a mouth here. I think I made that one angle up a little too much. So let's do right there. Just following the curve of the stitches on that round. And that gives you just a nice little, you know, not particularly smiling, not frowning, kind of a calmer mouth, more like the ones I've got here. And so that's how I do noses and mouths for my amigurumis. And honestly, those are the only ones I can make look good. I have tried doing more complicated mouths with lips and, you know, some satin stitch and stuff like that, and every single time they come out lopsided or too big or too small, or they just look funny. The only time I've really had success with mouths is when I do it simply like this. Now, if you needed a bigger mouth, actually, let me show you that. If you needed a bigger mouth, like suppose, ignore the nose here, okay? But suppose you have a doll with just a larger face, right? You can add another stitch on each side of the mouth here. You can do that if you need, whoops, don't pull too tight. There we go. If you needed a bigger mouth, you could add more stitches on the sides to make the mouth bigger. So that's a possibility too. But other than that, I have not had success with any other type of mouth. I think my embroidery skills just aren't up to par for that. So these are really simple ones you can do for at least most of the patterns that I do, which don't tend to be huge. They tend to be smaller things like this. This one works really well. So again, let me know if there's anything you want to see next time, and I think that's everything I have for you today. If anybody has any questions, I can answer them. Otherwise, have a happy Thursday, have a great weekend, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!